In 1621, the Plymouth Colonists Black Indians shared an autumn harvest feast as knowledge days one of the first Thanksgiving celebrations in the colonies. For more than 2 centuries, the day of Thanksgiving was celebrated at individual colonies and states. It wasn't until 1863, the minutes of the Civil War, that President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed National Thanksgiving to be held each November. In September 1620, a small ship called Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carrying 102 passengers, and children of religious separatists seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith, and other individuals lured by promise of prosperity and land ownership to the New World. After treacherous crossing 66 days, they dropped anchor near Cape Cod, far north of their intended destination. 1 month later, the Mayflower crossed Massachusetts Bay, where Pilgrims, as they are now commonly known, began working to establish the village of Plymouth. Throughout the first brutal winter, most of the colonists remained on the board of the ship. When they suffered from exposure, scurvy, and outbreaks of contagious disease, only half the Mayflower's original passengers and crew lived to see the first New England spring. In March, remaining soldiers moved ashore where they received an astonishing visit from Indian who greeted them in English. Several days later, he returned with another Native American, a member of Powhatan tribe, and had been kidnapped by the English sea and sold into slavery before escaping to London, returning to his homeland to conduct expeditions. The Pilgrims, weakened by malnutrition and illness, how to cultivate corn, extract sap from maple trees, catch fish in the rivers, and avoid poisonous plants. He also helped the settlers forge an alliance with the Wampanoag tribe, a local tribe, which would endure for more than 50 years and tragically remain one of the sole companion harmony between European colonists and Native Americans. In November 1621, the Pilgrims' first corn harvest proved successful. Governor William Bradford organized a celebrity feast and invited a group of fledgling colonist American allies, including Wampanoag chief Massasoit, now one of its Americans' first Thanksgiving. Although the Pilgrims themselves may have not used the term that term at the time, festival lasted for days. While no record of exact menu, there are many accounts of fowling and 5 deer. Historians suggest that many of the dishes were likely prepared using traditional Native American species cooking methods, since the Pilgrims didn't have many tools. The Pilgrims held their second Thanksgiving celebration, September 23, to mark the end of a long drought that threatened the year's harvest, prompted Governor Bradford to call a religious fast. Days of fasting and Thanksgiving, or annual or occasional basis, became common practice of the New England settlements as well. During the American Revolution, the Continental Congress designated more than one or more days of Thanksgiving a year, and in 1789, George Washington issued the first Thanksgiving proclamation. He called upon Americans to do gratitude to the happy conclusion of the country's war of independence and the successful ratification of the Union's constitutions. His successors, Adams and Madison, also designated days thanks during their presidencies. In 1817, New York became the first of several states to officially adopt the annual Thanksgiving holiday. Each celebrated on a different day, however, and the American South remained largely unfamiliar with the tradition. In 1827, the magazine editor Sarah Hale, author of countless other things, launched a campaign to establish Thanksgiving as a national holiday. For 36 years, she published numerous editorials and sent scores of letters to governors, senators, presidents, and politicians. Abraham Lincoln finally heeded her request in 1863, in the height of the Civil War, in the proclamation of entering all Americans to ask God to commend his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the civil strife. Heal the words of a nation. He scheduled Thanksgiving for the final Thursday in November. It was celebrated on that day every year until 1939, when Franklin D. Roosevelt moved the holiday up a week to tempt spur and retail sales during the Great Depression. Roosevelt's plan, known derisively as Franksgiving, was for some scholars met with passionate opposition. In 1941, the president reluctantly signed a bill making Thanksgiving the fourth Thursday of November. Thanksgiving traditions. As many American households, Thanksgiving celebration has lost much of its original religious significance. Instead, it now centered on cooking and sharing a beautiful meal with family and friends. Turkey, a Thanksgiving staple, has become all about synonymous with the holiday. May or not have been offered when the Pilgrims had their original feast. Today, however, nearly 90% of Americans eat the bird, whether roasted, baked, or deep fried, on Thanksgiving, according to the National Turkey Federation. Other traditional foods include stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. Volunteering is a common Thanksgiving activity. Potteries have also been important in the United States. Presented at Macy's department store in 1920, New York City Thanksgiving became the largest and most famous, attracting now 2 million spectators in the 2.5-mile route, drawing an enormous television audience. It typically features marching bands, performers, elaborate floats, and various celebrities' giant balloons shaped like cartoon characters. Beginning in the mid-20th century, perhaps even earlier, the President of the United States pardoned 1 or 2 Thanksgiving turkeys each year, sparing the birds from slaughter and sending them to the farm for retirement. A number of U.S. governors also performed the annual turkey pardoning. For some scholars, the jury is still out whether the Feast at Plymouth really was the first Thanksgiving of the United States. Indeed, historians have recorded other ceremonies of thanks among European settlers in North America that predate the Pilgrim celebration. In 1596, for instance, the Spanish explorer Pedro de Alves invited members of the local tribe in Austin, Florida, after holding mass to thank God for his crew's safe arrival. On December 4th of 1619, when 38 British settlers reached a site known as Hunt Berkeley, on the banks of Virginia James River, they reached a proclamation saying a day of thanksgiving to Almighty God. Some Native Americans and others take issue on how Thanksgiving stories presented in the American public, especially to school children. In their view, the traditional narrative paints a skillfully studied portrait of relations between Pilgrims and Wampanoag people, masking the long blood history of conflict between the Native Grants and European settlers that resulted in deaths of millions. Since 1970, protesters have gathered in the day of Thanksgiving atop of the Coles Hill, which overlooked Plymouth Rock, to a national day of mourning. Similar events are held in other parts of the country. Thanksgiving's ancient origins. Although the American concept of Thanksgiving developed in the colonies of New England, its roots are forced back to the other side of the Atlantic. Both the separatists who came over the Mayflower and Puritans who arrived soon after brought them the tradition of provisional holidays, fasting during difficult pivotal moments, days of feasting and celebrating thank God, times of plenty. As an annual celebration of the harvest and its bounty, moreover, Thanksgiving falls under a category of festivities and spans cultures and millennia. In ancient times, the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans feasted and paid tribute to their gods after a fall harvest. Thanksgiving also bears witness to the ancient Jewish harvest festival Sukkot. Finally, historians have noted the Native Americans had a rich tradition of comparing fall harvest with feasting and merrymaking long before Europeans set foot on their shores. And my dogs.
Oh, yes. I found it very interesting, but the dogs are asleep. Good job, Julia. Thank you.